What is up? Making a video about headers install and removal for 350Zs and G35s. This is a 07 Nismo 350, so it's an HR. The HRs and DEs are similar. I believe the only difference really is the flanges. As you can see here, this is a stock HR manifold, and this is a spare set of DE headers that I used for a project with PPE. We'll get to this. I know, it's pretty dope. Anyways, so yeah, pretty much same thing, same fitment, other than the flanges. So this one has a longer triangle and this one is more of a equal shape. Anyways, so yeah, first things first, tools. What do you need? What did I use? I already have the headers out. We'll show you. So I just took out my long tubes because I'm in the process of putting on a mid-mount turbo kit. And I'm putting in a new set of shorties, also by PPE. This is a special project. I'm getting there, I promise. But yeah, so I took out the passenger side, which is right there. And the driver side is just chilling right here for now. I was gonna take it out, but I wanted to show you guys this video. It kind of fell. I was hoping it's gonna stay on the studs, but it's all right. It's no big deal. Yeah, so flashlights. We'll start off with flashlights and lighting. I have my shop lights. If you guys have better lighting, that's gonna be better for you, but I don't know. Gotta make do with what you got. I recently picked up a lot of stuff on Black Friday from Husky from Home Depot. They had a pretty good deal on a lot of stuff. So picked up 2 of these flashlights. Are like 1200 lumens and you can like adjust them. So that's been pretty nice for getting in there. I have a really old school bike light from when I used to go biking on some trails. So this thing, it's tiny, it's bright, and it can get in everywhere. I've dropped in oil, coolant, you name it. This thing's been through it all. So love this thing. Also have a little headlamp that's like a LED strip and a like spotlight. That thing's been really nice too. Next, the big one, ratchets. So with this job, you're gonna be in a really, really tight spot. And these studs are face down, which means a regular ratchet, when you're getting in there, you're not gonna be like upright on that. So what you want is flex head ratchets. You can pick these up. I got these 2 on Amazon. I got this one from Lowe's, I believe. These things, they extend, they shorten, they flex head, they're great. What this means is when you're in here, you can flex the head and get at the right angle that you need. And that really helps. I used all 3 of them. For all 6 of these ratchets I used. These are really nice. This was a 3-piece set from Home Depot of Husky 144 tooth ratchets. And they are amazing. Here is a regular Husky ratchet. I'll show you the difference. I believe this is the 72 tooth. And 144 tooth. Versus these things are amazing. This, if you don't have to get all 3 of them, it was a bundle deal, but this one, the 1/4 inch 144 tooth, I can't tell you enough how nice it is, because when you're in this area and it's so tight that you only have like a 1/4 inch of a swing, this catches all of it. There's no resistance. It fits in pretty nicely because it's pretty tiny. That's why I like this one over the other 2. These 2 are pretty big. I was able to use these 2 on the passenger side a little bit, just not as much. 1/4 inch, however, that was my go-to. And what I did was I had an extension and a 1/4 inch deep socket, but I'll get there. The other ones I used was a flex head ratcheting wrench, 14 mil, and then a shorter and a longer 14 mil regular wrench. There will be a few studs where you just can't get anything but no shit, a wrench. You can't get a ratcheting wrench because it's too thick. Sometimes you can't get a long one because it's too long and it'll hit. So you'll need a shorter one. So, sounds ridiculous, but if you get into that spot, that's just what kind of happens. I was gonna go over each stud and kind of tell you what I use for each one, just to give an idea of what you're gonna get into. Sockets, I use deep for 1/2 inch, 3/8, and 1/4. I did try to stick to 6-point and not 12-point because the 6-point will grab it better and you won't strip it as much. You could get an impact 1/2 inch with a 6-point, but I just had this one around and I was just really careful with it. The trick is, especially if you're using a 12-point, don't try to crack it loose if you're not fully flush on it. But what I mean by that is, like, if you're not all the way on it, like so, like if you're like this, it's gonna strip. Just because of how tight it is on there and the crappy like location. If it's not on flush, it's gonna slip off and it's gonna strip out. There's a few in here that they're not too bad. And then you had some that's like, I need to replace them because they're just no good. So my piece of advice is I always replace these each time I do manifolds. This will be the 2nd or 3rd time I've done this, so yay. But yeah, no, gaskets and stud nuts. They're like $1 a piece online, so they're not expensive, they're not crazy. I mean, you could go to a store and buy them for cheaper, but I don't know. I would just go and get them like OEM, just to be safe. That's what I did. Yeah. So after the deep sockets, I did have the short sockets. The 14 mil short, this won't really get onto the stud, but once you have it like loose for the most part, you'll be able to get this eventually. But if you get a deeper, like 1/2 inch short socket, this will reach. This is a Husky 1/2 inch 12-point 14 mil socket, and it reaches perfect, which helps a lot because sometimes you can't get a deep socket with an extension, but you can get an extension with a short socket. So that was a big one I used. The one I used the most was definitely the 1/4 inch. Between a 2 inch and a 3 inch 1/4 inch extension with this ratchet, especially this one. I tried to crack them loose with a 1/2 inch or 3/8 and then just take it off with the 1/4 inch. That seemed to work really well for me. Some of them you can get lucky if you have a ratcheting wrench. I know that there is 2 on this side and 2 on this side that I could get with this. Once I cracked it loose, I was able to get it off. All I used was a deep socket and a 1 inch 3/8 extension, and that worked pretty well. So right there, that's it up. So yeah, that's it for ratchets, sockets, and wrenches, and flashlights, magnets. I can't tell you how many times you're gonna drop a nut or a socket is gonna fall off your extension and it's gonna get stuck in the dark void that is our engine bay. If you know, you know. If you don't know and you're doing this job, you're gonna find out. So yeah, that's it for tooling pretty much. Also recommend trying to have some safeties if you're under the car, because it's never fun getting crud in your eyes. So yeah, going to removal. First things first, you're gonna want to disconnect the battery, because anytime you're messing with wiring, you don't want to short anything and make the ECU go all funny. So disconnect the battery, jack up the car, get on stands. If you're working in the front, what I usually like to do is have the jack stands up and then the jack just like right up with it. That case, if one fails, you're safe. Once you're jacked up, you can go ahead and start working the engine bay. First things first, you're going to want to remove your strut brace. And then once you remove your strut brace, you can remove your intakes off of your manifold. I went ahead and took off my manifold because I have to do fuel stuff anyways. So that's why a lot of this crap's out the way. You do not need to take the manifold off. It really won't benefit. There's not really any benefit. Hell, for me, because I disconnected some of the coolant lines, it's been pissing coolant on me for the past like few days when I've been trying to do this job. So yeah, just keep that in mind. If you do decide to take this off for whatever reason. Yeah, so now moving on to here. So I wish I could put the header on to show you guys. I'm definitely not gonna put it back in here, but I will give you an idea. So you have, this is the most forward runner. You're gonna have one up, one down, and then coming over, it's inverted for the middle one. So the top one is forward and the bottom one is aft. And then for the back runner on the passenger side, it's the same as the middle. And this is for an HR. It could be the same for VHRs. Do keep in mind, each hole is threaded, so you can swap them around. But from factory, this is the layout. The top two right here aren't too bad at all. The back one over there can get tricky. That's when you're really gonna want to have the flex head ratchet so you can get around. The bottom ones, my bad about that. My phone decided to cut out. So what I was just about to get to was the bottom studs. The bottom front one is probably the easiest one out of both sides. It's pretty easy access. What I did is this bracket right here for your alternator. It's held in by two 8mm bolts on the back of the alternator. You can just take them off real quick, and then that will give you playing room for this. Like I said, it's not too bad. However, these bottom two bolts, or studs, that one, I need to get this off anyways. Okay, you're gone, goodbye. So yeah, these bottom two ones right here and here, they will be a bit tricky. I know that I cracked that one loose with a wrench, and then I was able to slowly get it off. A lot of these I did use that 144 point or tooth 1/4 inch ratchet. I'm telling you, this thing is amazing. Between this one and this one, I would get these two first for the job. I wouldn't say you need this, but it does help. You absolutely need these. You absolutely need these. Two of the three. I would say this one for sure, and then either a 1/2 inch or a 3/8. The extendable ones help because it gives you the length to crack them loose. And if you're in a tight spot, you can shorten it. That works for all three of these. This brand is Hart. Just about everything else here is Husky, and I have a bit of Milwaukee stuff as well. But yeah, so that's it for the passenger side. It really is just a combination of using deep sockets with different extensions just to get the right length to get across the runners. Some of them you're going to have to go from the underside of the car. I believe the only one I got from the underside was the very back one, and the rest of them I was able to get from the top. Once you guys are done on both sides, since I'm here and I can point at them easy, I believe these are E8 stud heads. You want to retorque these studs once you're done before you reinstall or put new nuts on these, because if you crack them loose, it might loosen them. So you just want to retorque them just to make sure that they're tight. If one of them comes out with the nut because the nut's on there so tight, don't freak out. You can just get an E8 bit and then a 14mm wrench, and you can just crack it loose in your hand. If you're watching the YouTube videos, I'm sure you've seen the other video. I can't remember his name, but he had a blue HR and he was doing PPE long tubes as well. That was a really great video. I wish I could link it, but that dude made some really good content for doing this job as well. And I'm trying to just kind of leap off of that video, just giving a bit more in-depth. So that's this side. Again, you don't really have to disconnect too much. You just take the intakes off, which is the mass sensors, and that gives you the playroom. You don't even need to remove the intake tubes if you have long tubes. They can stay here because they only like come to like right here, so you don't have to worry about that. I did because, again, big project. This side, driver's side, sucks. It sucks. There's a coolant hard line right here, held in by two, I believe, 12 mil bolts. They're like 10 or 12 mil. And then you have your AC compressor line right here. And this part kind of wiggles right here. And then you also have your harness in the way as well. That goes to, I believe, your starter. The starter, you can disconnect right here. It's 10 mil, and that will give it a little bit of wiggle room. I didn't disconnect it because it's not really that like much wiggle room. And then this this harness, you can disconnect right here, two 10 mils right here. Whenever you're doing all this stuff, be sure that you're putting the nuts back where they go, nuts and bolts. It just helps you keep track. So, but with this, you don't have to. I didn't, but it does give you a bit more room. The most beneficial thing I would say that would help if you're willing to do it is definitely taking this coolant pipe off. So if you're doing a job that requires you to bleed the coolant in any way, shape, or form, like new radiator or swapping the manifolds over and you have a bit of coolant and you have to bleed it anyways, just go ahead and take it off. It's gonna make you really upset. Between this and then this line, it has a little bit of wiggle room. You can also disconnect it here, and then this comes off and it will slide off. That will give you considerably bit more room to mess with. Again, I didn't because I've done this a few times and I know how to get around. So with that being said, the studs. So the very front one on the driver's side, again, there's so much crap in the way, it's hard to tell. Your top side, your top front runner, the top one's gonna be in the back, bottom one's gonna be in front, and then it's inverted for the middle one, and then the same for the back. So the middle and the back runner, the top one will be in the front, and the bottom row will be in the back side for that runner. So look like this for the first runner, and then the middle and the rear runner is that one and that way. Just to give you an idea and what to look out for. Yeah, these you really do have to be patient with and kind of mess around with different sockets. I was able to get the entire top row from the top, as well as the front bottom one as well. The middle one you definitely can get from the top. It's just a little difficult. You have to use the extension. What I did was I used a 1/4 inch with, I believe, no, I used a 3/8 with a 3 inch and a deep socket. And I was able to go from the bottom, and it was right up the middle. I was able to snake between the runners and get to it. And I'm about to go under the car so I can show you guys. So grab some flashlights, kind of give ourselves some lighting. All right, here we go. There's that coolant I was talking about. It's just been kind of dripping steadily for the past few days. the job without getting a little dirty, right? All right, so now that you're under the car, for the driver's side, again, this is a long tube, so it's gonna be a little different than your standard stock header that's gonna come right here. And then you'll have your cat that comes to right here. Okay, the header wants to come out, so go ahead and take this out. So, video cut out again. Anyways, I just restarted it, so just gotta hang on for a second. I was trying to get this in here for you guys, but it had other plans. So, hey look, that's how you take out a header in 30 seconds. I'm just kidding. All right, so I really was trying to keep that in there so I could show you like how to get around the runners and whatnot. But yeah. Whenever you're down here, first things first, you're gonna wanna take off this cross brace. It runs like right across here. It's gonna hold on your O2 sensors and whatnot. You're gonna wanna remove that. And then you're going to want to disconnect your steering rack right here. You just unbolt the 2 bolts, mark it when you do. And the sleeve, yeah, it comes off like that. The goal is to not be an idiot like me and take it off all the way. Anyways, so yeah, you want to get this out the way, and then that way you can slide your long tubes in here. You might be able to get away with shorty headers. I went from stock headers to PPE long tubes, and now I'm going to a custom set of PPE shorty headers for a mid-mount setup. So, but yeah, anytime you're doing PPEs or long tubes in general, you do need to disconnect this. I can tell you that for sure. So once you have it disconnected, like I said, these are these studs. Like I said, the top row, you're gonna be able to take out, no problem. This one right here is gonna suck. I was using a wrench to crack it, and then the 1/4 inch to crack it loose. This one right here, the middle one right there, I came through this hole right here where your control arm is and snaked through here past the steering rack with the 3/8 flex head ratchet extension and a deep 14 mil socket. And I was able to just get right here for this one. That's the best tip I could give for that one. This one right here, you could do a similar thing, but I had better luck coming right here and getting it. It's pretty rough. These two are gonna be the hardest time. This one takes a bit more work, but it's easier, if that makes sense. This one just sucks, dude. Yeah. Once I had cracked it loose, I kind of gave up and used my fingers and tried to free spin it as much as I could. I didn't have any PB Blaster or WD-40 laying around. That would definitely help. But yeah, if you can free spin it, do that as much as you can, because it's definitely easier than having to ratchet it or use a wrench. This top one right here, no shit, I had to use a wrench and just 1/4 turn at the time. There's no ratchet, no configuration that would work for this one right here. That one I had to use a wrench. These two, I used a 1/4 mil ratchet, flex head, and the 144 tooth one, the fixed head. They came off eventually. But yeah, and vice versa for install once you put them on. I just wanted to give you guys a general idea of how to go about these and show you the tooling that you would like. Once you do have them removed, don't forget to disconnect your O2 sensors, because you're not gonna take it off without it. And also, inspect your heat shields. This one was a little spicy, so I am going to be buying a new header, because this is a custom spec PPE long tube. It's 2-inch runners, to a 2.5-inch parallel merge collector. And I guess the pipe was just a little big right here. And it got a little hot. Even with the Cerakoting on it, it still was able to get through the shield. So yeah, just keep an eye on this stuff. You do want to keep these fresh and good because you don't want to burn through your chassis. But yeah, that's really about it. Like I said, do keep in mind that when you're taking the steering column off, battery is disconnected, and you mark your teeth when you pull it off. And yeah, just triple check your markings. You want to use like a permanent Sharpie, so that way it doesn't come off. But yeah, it's really pretty straightforward from that. It's just patience, especially with this driver's side. Like I said, these two studs you'll have from the bottom. The rest you can definitely take from the top. You might be able to get this top one right here, the back top one, but I'm not so sure. And for the passenger side, this guy right here, you can get from the bottom. The rest of them, I would just get from the top. It really isn't too bad. It's tight. I would start off with the passenger side because it sucks, but you'll get it done quicker. I promise. And then you can move on to this side because you're going to get stuck on this side and you're going to want to quit. And when you do quit, you can at least tell yourself, well, at least I got this side off and I can just fight this side the next day, because that's what I do every time. Yeah, I'm about to get out from under this car. Oh, man. So yeah, now that I kind of showed you all that, I want to drag these headers out. And kind of show you what I've been doing. So, a little hot right there. So this is the PPE long tubes. 2-inch runners to a parallel merge collector with a 2.5-inch outlet. Amazing. The best header setup you could ever get, hands down, for 350Zs. I loved them. I do have another video. I'll try and stitch it into this at the end. I do have it's an exhaust video showing a bunch of flyby startups and whatnot with this. I loved it. So, but yeah, this was the setup. You can really kind of see. So it was 1, 2, 3, 4, and then 5, 6. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So I got it from the top, and then top. I used ratchet, wrench. And then this is the one I was talking about where you could sneak up and just barely get through it. But this one, as you can see, is like really hidden. And you think you have space, but then you have the runner like right here. So, amazing design by PPE, but it's definitely not a fun time. And I'll show you the stock header to give you an idea. So when you're doing the job, if you're putting your PPEs on for the first time, again, same layout, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, same thing. You get top as well. This one you could also get from the top, but you can definitely see like your working space for those two. It's pretty good. But once you get into some long tubes, you're gonna have some fun. But yeah, this is the angle that I really wanted to show you guys. Like I said, DEs, it's a little different. This is a different layout. And then me, I'm really gonna have some fun with these. So this is a project that I worked with PPE. It's basically the same spec as this long tube. 2-inch runners to a parallel merge collector, 2.5-inch exit. This is a V-band because my crossover manifold, I wanted to V-band it so I could avoid this leak. But man, guys, y'all need to pray for me. Because, like, you know how you have access to that one and a little bit of access to that one? And decent space right here. No space. I don't know how I'm going to get this one. And same with that one. But it'll be fun. I'll try and make another video another day when I decide to put these on. I'm most definitely going to hold off on installing these because I want to route my fuel return and my wastegate pressure lines and all that good stuff while I have the little bit of space. I just don't think there's any sense in putting it on there and waiting for like more coolant to drip on it and whatnot. So the headers and the crossover will be going on just about last. So yeah, like I said, be patient, make sure you have your tools. These are Steelman Pro ratchets that I was using. The blue one, I can't remember the name of it. But yeah, these two I did get on Amazon. The 1/2 inch I got off of, got from Lowe's. The rest of these are all Husky tools, with the exception of this. It's the Blue Point, so snap-on. And then this I got from O'Reilly's, I think, or AutoZone. But yeah, just be patient, man. Make sure that you have an adequate amount of sockets, adapters, because like I said, the more you have to like interchange, the better it's gonna be. You don't need it, but it will make it a lot easier. Highly recommend this one, the 1/2 inch. I mean, honestly, all three of these I used a lot. And definitely 2 different size 14 mil wrenches. You want to use a longer one because you'll have more leverage, and a shorter one when you don't have any other choice. So yeah, and some coffee or a beer, your choice. You will need both. So yeah, hope that helps, guys. I will be more than happy to send pictures to anyone for close-ups of the comparison. I can also do the passenger side if you would like. I do have my other stock manifold right there. So if you guys want to hit me up, my Instagram is Nismo_spec with a Z. It is linked in my channel. If you guys want to like and subscribe, I will be making more videos, more content. I have a whole ass build I'm doing. Planning on making between 550 and 650 next summer on stock block, on like 8 to 10 pounds of boost with this setup, and doing a high boost setup because I have a spare VHR block that I'm having built, and I'm gonna swap that in, swap the heads over because I have 272s in the heads, and yeah, send it to the moon, see if we can make 800-900. Have a good time. So yeah, stay tuned, and I will see you guys in the next video.